So, guys, Manchester United 2, Rangers 1. This is your full-time reaction from Old Trafford on this Thursday evening on match day 7 of the 24-25 UEFA Europa League. Manchester United 2, Rangers 1. Thank goodness we have got a player of the quality like Bruno Fernandes in our team. We've got to appreciate, obviously, Bruno Fernandes hasn't had his best season so far. He's been very, very frustrating at times. Obviously, in the Europa League, he's been sent off more than what he's contributed towards the team result. But thank goodness we managed to find that late winning goal at Old Trafford on this Thursday night to condemn Rangers to another Europa League defeat this evening, where Rangers thought they had a point, Rangers thought they got something from Old Trafford, and Rangers thought they got an unlikely result. But up steps Bruno Fernandes to the rescue in the 92nd minute of 5 minutes of added on time, gets Manchester United out of jail, rescues Manchester United at the death once again. You've got to appreciate the goal. You've got to appreciate the finish. You've got to appreciate the timing of the shot and the finesse and the power that he gets behind the ball. And you've got to appreciate he gets up at the right place at the right time to fire home for Manchester United and grabs us a late 2-1 win tonight in the Europa League, where Manchester United now are a step further to automatic qualification for the next stages and for the next round of the Europa League. Manchester United tonight have also avoided a two-legged playoff. So that means no two-legged playoff. That means Manchester United will be going through to the automatic qualifications of the knockout stages of the Europa League, which obviously means it's going to be a tough test from further on for Manchester United against the likes of many big other European teams in the Europa League this season. But Manchester United, give them credit, give them the time, give them the patience, and we will always never, ever give up to find a winning way at Old Trafford. I don't think it was our best performance. I don't think Manchester United were at their clinical best. I think that first half was a very, very poor one. I think both teams really struggled with the occasion. I don't think both teams really wanted to go full-on attacking against each other because I think, to be fair, Rangers are probably more one of the vulnerable teams compared to the likes of Manchester United. But I think Rangers probably would have felt very, very hard done by coming away with Old Trafford with nothing, because when you get an equaliser, which again was very, very poor defending and again poor goalkeeping, Rangers honestly thought they had a point. Rangers thought they got a result. But I think in the end, based on the second half performance, I think Manchester United, so I think we do deserve the result. We deserve the win. And obviously, this competition is crucial for Manchester United to get back into the UEFA Champions League for next season, because obviously the league campaign's over. We know the Premier League season's basically done. There's no coming back from that now. And I think the focus has fully got to go on the Europa League and the FA Cup for the rest of the season now, because obviously if you look at the league table, the stats don't lie, the results don't lie, and the table doesn't lie either. Manchester United have had a Premier League season to forget. It's not been the season that anyone, including myself, expected from a Manchester United fan point of view. I'm very, very disappointed the way the league campaign has turned out. I honestly thought we would push on. I thought Manchester United would make a statement this season, but the statement we've made is Manchester United are still in the same old mess under every previous manager that we've had at this football club. And obviously, Ruben Amorim has basically had to come in and get us out of the weeds. He's had to come and dig us out of the mud, and he's had to try and get Manchester United somehow trying to perform at their very best again, midway through a season where, again, I would probably say the season's been done when Manchester United didn't really make a decision on sacking Ten Hag too quick. It took them so long to make a decision whether to keep him. It took way too long to bring players in, and it took way too long to either sack him or to keep him. And obviously, the decision was made. Ruben Amorim's been drafted in mid-season, where we really could have done with a new manager at the start of the season, because I feel like we're very, very less prepared for the rest of the season. I think the season could have been saved if Manchester United would have made a managerial appointment and decision regarding Erik Ten Hag's future a lot more quickly than the time and the patience that us fans and supporters have had to absolutely grin and bear how frustrating Manchester United have been this season. And with only theoretically 3 months left after February, because we are approaching February now, we are approaching that crucial point towards the end of this current season. The Europa League and the FA Cup is all we've got left. We can't win anything else. We're not winning the Carabao Cup. We're not going to get top 4. We'll be lucky if we even scrape the top 10. And I don't think we're going to get European football. And obviously, the Europa League is starting to become very, very telling that Ruben Amorim has to take this competition very, very seriously. But I was concerned by the team selection. I was concerned with the players he picked for tonight's game against Rangers, because I think for me, Manchester United missed a huge opportunity to bury Rangers in this game. I think the team selection has divided massive opinion on the fans and supporters of Manchester United again. I don't feel like that was our best team. I don't feel like that was our best selection. And for me, I don't think that was the right squad to go with tonight, because when you think Rangers rescue a point and you think to yourself, another bad result, this is going to put huge pressure on Ruben Amorim. How are Manchester United going to be able to deflect the blame game, and how are they going to take away any kind of positive from tonight? I think Ruben Amorim has got very lucky. I think Ruben Amorim has got to count himself very lucky that Bruno Fernandes has basically got Manchester United out of jail. I think Bruno Fernandes has had to step up massively tonight, because if you look at that midfield, and let's be honest and let's call a spade here. Let's be blunt. Let's be crucial. Let's be a little bit critical. That midfield doesn't work. That midfield really does not work. For me, I can understand that you'll chuck in a player like Toby Collier, who, to be fair, was probably Manchester United's best standout player in the midfield battle tonight, and wasn't too scared to take on challenges and tackles, and actually managed to create several big chances and managed to command the midfield in a very commanding way, that he wanted to bring his authority and his presence on that midfield, because that midfield is crucially lacking quality. It's really lacking a lack of essence. It's lacking quite a lot of energy. It's lacking quite a lot of passion, really. I don't think that midfield works for me, in my view. I really do not think that midfield really works. And I have to be honest about it. I'm not trying to be critical. I'm not trying to moan about the performance, because we have won. We have beaten Rangers 2-1. We got the result. We got the 3 points. We got the victory. But Manchester United was still very lethargic tonight. You could tell by the body language. You could tell by their presence. You could tell by a lot of the players' facial expressions that there's a lot of frustrated faces in that team. You can see that there's a lot of players who don't seem happy with the way things are. And I don't think the players have got anywhere to hide. The players have to be blamed for how bad this season's been, in my view, because these players haven't really stepped up and produced what Manchester United is all about: winning, attacking, quality football, where we are basically destroying the opposition. But it's been another telltale sign of the pressure. These players can't cope under it. And that's a big issue that I've got going forward. There's a lot of those players, and again, a lot of these players need to be removed from this football club. A lot of these players cannot cope with the pressure and the expectation that Amorim is probably demanding, as well as Manchester United and the club as a whole. A lot of these players under pressure cannot cope. The big occasion gets to them. They get all worked up. They go into a flap. They go into a wallop. And the opposition sense that naivety. They sense that fear. They see that escape factor, really, that Manchester United are still massively vulnerable in so many aspects of that team. You could see it tonight. The first half said it all. To come up at Old Trafford and produce a first half performance like that, I think Rangers would have been the better team. I think Rangers would have taken a 0-0 at half time, especially knowing that Manchester United haven't really created a lot of attacking chances on that Rangers goal. It was such a dull first half. And I think that is down again to this team selection. It's down to certain players in that team that cannot cope in this system, can't play this formation, clearly are not used to Ruben Amorim's tactics and his setup, and are clearly massively naive, really, because it's a new way of playing. It's a new setup. It's a new tradition of Manchester United that we're going in a completely different direction. And I don't think these players like the direction that Ruben Amorim is trying to take them in. And the problem is a lot of these players are still in favour of the way that Erik ten Hag played, and probably Solskjaer and probably Rangnick. A lot of these players have got used to a lot of the old managers' presence and the way they used to set up. And I think this system really is not suiting a lot of players. But at the end of the day, these players, in my view, you've got to get on with it. You've got to be able to still produce the goods, even though it's a completely different way of playing that you've never really done before under any other manager. And I think a lot of these players are still stuck in their old ways. A lot of these players are still in massive, massive denial of how Manchester United are meant to be as a football club. And that really showed in that first half. I was so gutted by coming away from Old Trafford half time and it was still 0-0. I'm not surprised by that though. I'm not surprised it was still 0-0 at half time. I've seen this so many times this bloody season that we have come away at half time and it is still goalless. That is down again to the lack of quality in that team. And again, I would come back to Ineos and I would come back to the Glazers and say, are you pleased with 0-0 at half time? Are you pleased with that performance? Are you pleased with that squad? And are you pleased with those players? Because Rangers were the happier team. They would have taken 0-0 at halftime. Their manager, their players, and their fans, supporters. I would have been celebrating that at halftime. I would have been absolutely enthusiastic of how Rangers have been able to keep Manchester United out for so long. But that was down again. Where was the chances being created? Where was that attacking threat from Manchester United in the whole that first half? Because in my view, I didn't see a lot. I saw a team that is too afraid to attack. I saw a set of players that look lost. I see players that are lacking an attacking threat. I'm seeing players that are looking around at each other because they don't know what to do. You've got players pinpointing directions and the way they want certain players to move across the Old Trafford turf in certain directions of that pitch. The players are commanding that team. Those players are commanding their own instructions, and the players are basically dictating of how they want to play instead of the way I feel Ruben Amorim wants them to play. And for me, in my view, that isn't right. Those players have clearly haven't got it into their head yet, have they? The manager's picking you. You've got to be able to be set up for this system and you've got to get on with it. I don't think these players like it. Personally, in my view, I don't think these players like it. They clearly don't want to play this new system because they are so stuck of the old ways of before. And I think because the way Ruben Amorim reacted at the weekend, if no one knows what happened in the dressing room at full time, Ruben Amorim absolutely lost it. He absolutely lost it. And if anyone's not seen the comments on MUFC MPB on Twitter, go and read some of the comments and go and see Ruben Amorim's reaction in the dressing room at full time, because chairs were flipped, tables were flipped, and he basically said, if these players can't step up, you can fuck off. Basically, the manager went full guns blazing on that team. And I don't blame him after Sunday, because that was disgusting. That was a disgrace on Sunday of how bad that was against Brighton. And I don't think the players like it when the manager then came out with a comment saying, this is the worst ever Manchester United team. This is the worst ever Manchester United of all time. And I don't blame Ruben Amorim at all for that. I do not blame him at all. I think Ruben Amorim has got every right to say what the fuck he thinks, because we've not had a manager like this since the days of Mourinho. You've got to pinpoint where Manchester United have gone wrong. David Moyes is too soft. Louis van Gaal was too soft. Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ralph Rangnick, Erik ten Hag. The only manager who's got any balls to call the problems out back in the day was Mourinho. He was the only one that basically stated, look at the problems I've got. Look at the issues of this team. Are you basically blinded by the fate that Manchester United are trying to go into a worse direction? And I've got a team that I deep down know ain't good enough. I've got players who are basically wiping their ass with me, then going behind my back and blaming me for the results, blaming me with the performances. That was Mourinho. Mourinho called it out then. Mourinho called it out then. You could quite clearly tell Mourinho was not to blame there. Mourinho didn't get backed properly. Mourinho didn't get players in, and he certainly was not allowed to get rid of certain players that are causing problems. Ruben Amorim is in the same situation. You can see there's a 2.0 Jose Mourinho in Ruben Amorim. You can quite clearly tell by the naked eye there's a Jose Mourinho in the making there. The way Ruben Amorim handles his press conferences, his questions, the interviews, his presence, his body language, even his facials. You can tell Ruben Amorim is not going to take any shit. You can tell he's not going to take any excuses. You can tell Ruben Amorim is not going to be messed about by these players. And that is an important thing. And that was the reaction of Sunday. I don't think those players responded well to that. And I think that was down to the first half performance. I don't think those players handled what Ruben Amorim did on Sunday. And I think that was brought into the game in the first half. Those players clearly were not up for it. Those players really, really struggled to get behind a manager again. And that's the big problem, because there's a lot of problematic players in that team that got picked again tonight. I don't think the team selection's benefiting the squad, in my view. There's players like Joshua ZIRKZEE, Christian Eriksen, Harry Maguire, Malacia, Bandia. Like, a lot of those players got given an opportunity tonight to prove themselves again. And I don't know if Ruben Amorim is deliberately trying to sabotage the season, or is he basically trying to state, look at these players, Ineos, look at these players, the Glazers. These are the issues. These are the problems. You're clearly blinded by sentimental crap, or you're clearly blinded by the issues that I've got to deal with as a manager. These players aren't good enough. I'm sending quite a clear, strong message. Some of these players I'm starting, I know ain't good enough. And that's probably why they started tonight, the likes of Maguire and ZIRKZEE and Eriksen and Malacia came on in the second half. There's a quite strong indication here. Ruben Amorim isn't happy. You can tell by that tonight. He looks at that squad, he looks at those players, and you must think to yourself, bloody hell, look at the crap I've got to work with. Look at the shit and the crap that has been brought in by Ten Hag. Look at the issues I've got in this team. And I'm having to work with this shit. I'm having to work with these players. But again, Ruben Amorim, I personally, in my view, I think this is pure sabotage. I think, for me, Ruben Amorim is trying to make a statement, say, Ineos and the Glazers, pull your finger out your ass and go and do something about this, because I can't keep producing miracles every week. And the problem is, by that lackluster result tonight, even though we still won, I am not being negative. I'm not trying to bring a downer on the result. I'm trying to be realistic here. I'm trying to point Man United in the right direction that they need to go in. Ruben Amorim should not have to pick Bandia. He shouldn't have to pick Eriksen. He should not have to pick DALOT. He shouldn't have to use Collier. He shouldn't have to use Maguire. He shouldn't have to use Malacia. He shouldn't have to use HOJLUND. He shouldn't have to use ZIRKZEE. That is 8 players out of that team tonight, from the bench to the first team, that Ruben Amorim is probably scratching his head thinking, so these are my options for the Europa League tonight. This is the players I've got available to play against Rangers. How many players have been kept based on sentimental views? How many times have these players been given that opportunity to prove themselves and still they fuck up? Because up to the point of the first United goal, Man United have got very lucky, by the way. Man United have got very, very lucky by the first goal. There's nothing special. There's nothing great about it. Man United's first goal is nothing more than pure luck. It is pure luck alone we got that lead, in my view. It was pure luck. There was nothing special about the way we took the lead. We only got the lead through an Eriksen corner, and ex-United goalkeeper, Jack Butland, absolutely flaps at the ball, tries to punch the ball away, and he decides to punch it from the back of his wrist, from his hand, into the back of his own net. That goal was nothing than pure luck. I think if Jack Butland would have caught that ball and got the ball out of danger and out of the Rangers penalty area, Rangers wouldn't have conceded that goal. Again, it's poor goalkeeping, by the way. It's really, really poor goalkeeping. As an ex-United goalkeeper that we brought in Jack Butland, again, that's really embarrassing. Bringing players in like Jack Butland back when it happened, that was under Ten Hag. When we brought Jack Butland in, I absolutely flipped because I was like, what the hell are we bringing in goalkeepers like Jack Butland? That made a massive statement tonight. That going near Jack Butland was a massive, massive, massive no. We should have went nowhere near a player like Jack Butland. But Man United got desperate in that moment because we had no goalkeepers. We had an injury crisis, and Jack Butland, we needed a backup goalkeeper. Thank God he is no longer at the club, because if he was in United's goal now and he defended like that, he'd be getting absolute pelters. But again, it's bad goalkeeping from Jack Butland to concede the goal the way he did. He really should have just stood up with both hands, jumped and caught the ball. If I was a Rangers fan, I would be massively, massively fucked off the way that first goal's happened, because there is no aerial threat in the United from the Rangers penalty area from any of those United players. And again, the corner kick from Eriksen, I'm not being disrespectful, but bloody hell, wasn't that corner kick over here? Was that corner put way too much in the air than what it needed to be to try and get a United player on the end of the Eriksen corner? There was no threat in that United penalty area. There was no threat from the corner. There was no one going up for the ball. There was not one player trying to jump to try and get on the end of the Eriksen corner in the first place. In my view, you can't just stand there as United players and not try and challenge for the ball and try and at least put this in the back of the net. None of them bother. None of them bother to, attempt to attack the ball. And that really disappoints me, because there's a huge opportunity here to score from a set piece. There's a chance here to try and grab this lead, because I didn't see the lead coming from elsewhere. If I'm being really honest here, I didn't see that lead coming from anywhere else. I did not see Manchester United grabbing hold of that game by the horns and absolutely going for it. That was not good enough, especially from a corner. Again, it's nothing more than pure luck. You can't take anything away from the way Jack Butland flapped at the ball like a bird. Like, you've got to be honest here. If Jack Butland catches that ball with both hands, that ends up in a goal kick. He catches the ball. United don't take the lead. Eriksen has got to be counted his lucky chickens that at the end of the day, Jack Butland has made a mighty goalkeeping error here to not try and keep that ball out. And for me, as a player like that making a mistake in goal, if that was ONANA, if that was Bandia, I would be absolutely flipping my lid, because that is really shit goalkeeping. So for me, United got lucky by the lead. United got lucky by the goal that they scored to get the lead in that second half, because I didn't see any more threat at all in that second half. I don't think we started that second half very well. Again, lethargic, slow, a lack of energy, a lack of movement on and off the ball. Again, what I'm seeing a lot is long ball FC. What I'm seeing again is long ball FC. Let's pump the ball up long. Let's put the ball long. That's all I'm seeing at the moment. We've turned into a long ball FC team again. And for me, it really, really frustrates me, because what's happening here is, because ZIRKZEE's playing and because ZIRKZEE's been given that opportunity, all we're doing is trying to hoof the ball up to ZIRKZEE for him to bring it down in front of the opposition centre-back. And we're basically turning into Liverpool, because they did that when they had Ricky Lambert. They used him as a target man. They used him as target practice. So if he brings the ball down in front of the opposition back four, in front of their own centre-back, you can hold the ball up, play it back to another United Liverpool player. That is what I'm seeing at Manchester United. We've gone back to long ball FC. And that has begun because we're using players like ZIRKZEE in this team, in this system, who don't work. And again, another player that Man United need to move on. ZIRKZEE should not be playing for this football club. He is not fucking good enough. I'm sorry to say, if ZIRKZEE's the long-term plan and the solution with RASMUS, we are basically fucked. We are absolutely screwed, because those two aren't the answers for the goals. They didn't contribute again. Like, that's another game gone that we've got two strikers that can't put the ball in the net. We've got two players who we brought in for a combined fee of 135 million as our goal scoring solutions. How many games have we gone now without those two contributing a goal or an assist? The goals have dried up. because the confidence is gone, the morale's gone, the positivity that both those players had at the start of the season have absolutely gone out the window. The confidence, they look shattered. They look absolutely a breath of confidence at the moment, and it is not in them. So playing long ball FC at Manchester United, for me, that's not okay. That is really, really such boring football to watch, trying to pump the ball up to ZIRKZEE to see what he can do. That really balls me to death. Like, that is the game plan, because Ruben Amorim knows this is all I've got. This is all I've got to use. ZIRKZEE's all I've got. And I can't really trust Rasmus, because Rasmus is in the same situation as ZIRKZEE. Neither of them can put the ball in the net. Neither of them can score. And I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place deciding on who to start every week. And again, Ruben Amorim picked ZIRKZEE to play tonight. Why? I know Rasmus is no better and you're in the same boat with both players, but surely that again sends a message to Ineos and Iglesias and go and get me a fucking striker. I think they're going to have to. I think they're going to have to go and get him a striker to put the ball in the net, because if we're stuck with Rasmus and we're stuck with ZIRKZEE for the rest of the season, we're in big trouble, because we're going to reach the latter stages of the Europa League. If we're basically through anyway, we're through to the knockouts. Let's call a spade here. We are through to the knockouts. But without a goal scorer. Without a goal scorer. Because the big problem we're going to have, again, there's worries and doubts about what's going to happen with Anthony. Anthony didn't play tonight. Anthony didn't get used. Anthony didn't get any minutes. That is because his Real Betis move, which we got the here we go with a few days ago now, has still not happened. And obviously Romano has come out and reassured everyone that Anthony is definitely going to Betis, but we are waiting for the documents for Betis and Man United to be approved and all sign off. And he has also put, they need a replacement being brought in. They need a replacement. Who that replacement's going to be, I hate to think, because we've only got a loan deal for Anthony. So it's basically allowing one player to go out and one player to come in. Well, the only player I know we're trying to sign at the moment is Patrick Dorgu from Lecce in Italy, in Serie A. Another Serie A player, again, that we are going after again, which absolutely terrifies me to the moon and back. It really, really frightens the shit out of me that we are going after a left back who we are going to end up having to bend over for and pay 40 fucking million euros for. And if it was a team like Brighton or Brentford coming after him, they would get charged after that. But because it's Manchester United, we have to pay double that. And they want 40 million euros. Well, if they want that, they can jog on. I don't really rate Patrick Dorgu. I've not seen enough of him to convince me, really, he's the left-back long-term solution. And again, I don't think Ruben Amorim wants that as the answer. If that's the Anthony replacement, we are in big fucking trouble. Because there could be people saying, oh, he can play at right wing back. He can play on the right wing. And it's like, so we've got a long-term left-back problem that we didn't sort in January last year, did not sort in the summer last year. We're bringing in Patrick Dorgu as the Anthony replacement. If that is it, I am terrified. Because if you're replacing Anthony with Dorgu, oh my God. Especially where Patrick Dorgu is a left wing back. He's a left back that plays for Lecce in Serie A. We've got no left back because Shaw and Malacia ain't good enough. Shaw is injury prone. Malacia is looking for a move away from the club. I don't blame that because Malacia is not good enough. United's recruitment of Malacia was never good enough anyway. And clearly our scouts did not look at his fucking injury record before we pressed ahead with that signing. Look at the situation we're in now. Look at the crap that we're having to put up with because we've got players like Malacia in a bloody Manchester United shirt. It absolutely scares the shit out of me that we are stuck with Malacia and Shaw. And if we bring Patrick Dorgu in, that will hopefully end Dalot at left back. That will hopefully end Shaw. That will hopefully end Malacia. But the problem is, if we sell Shaw and Malacia, we've got a replacement for them. We've got Dalot there to back up Dorgu. No. Dorgu ain't going to come to this club. United, I hope, do not bend over and do 40 million for him. If we do, that looks desperate, especially where Ruben Amorim wants Nuno Mendes. Ruben Amorim wants Alphonso Davies. He doesn't want Dorgu. He wants one of those two, not him. And if that's the anti-replacement, I absolutely shit myself, because that ain't the solution on the right wing. Because if Ahmad gets injured, we are screwed. And again, Rashford is back in training, all smiles, really happy. Once again, how many games has Marcus Rashford been out of that United team? He's back in training. He's smiling. He's happy. He still thinks he's got a future here. I am telling you now, United are getting desperate to try and find a solution. United are getting desperate to get Rashford out this club. I bat Ruben Amorim for not putting him in the squad tonight. I don't think bringing Marcus Rashford back into the fold is the right solution. If that is being done because we've got rid of Anthony, my God, the manager's being bent over again. Is basically being used puppets for strings. He's basically having to be two hands tied behind his back. Well, if you get rid of Anthony, Rashford's your solution. No, I don't want Rashford in the team. And I back Amorim for not picking him in the team. He's clearly not match fit. He's clearly not ready. Rashford doesn't want to be at this football club. He wants to go to Barcelona. Man United are going to have to set to loan fee. They're going to have to accept what offer Barcelona offer them. They're going to have to take it and absolutely get on with it. You're not going to get big money for Rashford. You're not going to get a really big loan fee. You're going to have to get on with it and suck it up. But again, that's not the only problem we've got, because Napoli have now pulled out for Garnacho. Bit of breaking news. Napoli are out of the Garnacho race because they're trying to get Adeyemi out of Borussia Dortmund. Chelsea are now coming in big for Garnacho. Garnacho wants to move. He's willing to join Chelsea. Well, Man United wants 70 million. And I'm telling you now, that 70 million has got to go on a striker, and it's got to go on a winger. I'm sorry to say, because if Rashford goes to Barcelona, Anthony's gone to Betis, Garnacho goes to Chelsea for 70 million. I'm not taking anything less than 70. I want United to put their foot down and demand that 70 million on the table. But Garnacho's Man United's best attacking player on that left flank. And if Garnacho goes, there's no Rashford there. If Garnacho goes, there's no Anthony on the right. So we're basically getting rid of our best left flank player, who is probably, in some aspects, United's best player going forward in an attacking sense, because that was mostly where most of our chances and our creations came from, was Garnacho on that left wing. If you get rid of that, who is the replacement? Because we need a striker and a winger. You can't just say, oh, it's got to be one or the other. It's got to be fucking both, because we don't have a goal scorer. And if Garnacho goes, there's going to be a lot of hate. There's going to be a lot of frustration, and United fans are going to flip. And if United flip, I dread to think what the repercussions are going to be here, because I don't want Garnacho to go. If he goes to Chelsea, he's going to look like a traitor. But Garnacho is being forced out by Manchester United, and Man United will only sell big, and they want 70 million. If I'm Manchester United and I'm trying to get rid of Garnacho, I want 100 million. I want 70 million plus 30 million in add-ons, because that could then get a winger and a striker in before deadline day, and that could then get you a left back as well, because Anthony's gone as well as Rashford. If all three of them go, all three have got to be replaced. In my view, we need another right winger, a left winger, and a striker, because all we're going to be left with, just think about this now: Rashford, Garnacho, and Anthony gone. We are then left with Ahmad, ZIRKZEE, and HOJLUND. Where's the attacking threats as the backup from then? That United team is going to be absolutely depleted of options and of attacking options. There ain't going to be any. And that terrifies me, because we're basically through to the knockouts now of the Europa League. We're through to the next round theoretically. We just have to win next week to make sure that spot's still guaranteed, even though we're on good points and we're up from ninth from where we were at the start of the evening up to now fourth. If we can stay there next week and beat FCSB on Thursday night next week, Man United will be through, even though we're through anyway, because we're basically guaranteed a top 8 finish, because that's how the new league format works. But just dread to think here, if Garnacho doesn't get replaced, and nor does Rashford, nor does Anthony, we are stuck with ZIRKZEE, HOJLUND, and Ahmad as our attacking three. You can't put Rasmus on the left. You can't put ZIRKZEE on the left. You can't put Ahmad on the left. You can't pick ZIRKZEE on the right. You can't put Rasmus on the right. So if United don't pull their finger out here and spend some money, you are basically throwing away the Europa League. You're going to throw away the FA Cup, especially where those two cup competitions are United's only hope. of getting into Europe next season, which is looking very, very slim. We have to win the Europa League. If we don't win the Europa League and we get knocked out, all we've got left is the FA Cup. And we're going to be back here next season on Thursday night playing Europa League football again. That terrifies me because we can't have that as our only options going forward. Garnacho was our best player the whole 95 minutes. Garnacho was kept on because most of the threat comes through him. Most of the attacking chances and opportunities that United get come through the left flank of the pitch. And if you take that away and United don't replace, well, where do United go? Because the only option here would be go and get that Williams who plays for Spain and Athletic Bilbao and activate his release clause. That's the option for me on the left wing. But then you've got to look at a striker. And I mean, I'm not saying Napoli are out of this Garnacho deal. Napoli are probably still going to try and somehow get Garnacho. But if they want Garnacho, I'll be like, right, we'll let you have Garnacho for the money we want. But if you give us that money, we will then do a deal with you to bring in Osimhen. So you could get Osimhen down the middle as our striker, and you could get Nico Williams in from Athletic Bilbao. That would solve so many problems on that left side of that pitch, especially then down the middle with Osimhen being brought in as the striker. There's opportunities for United to do stuff, and I'm afraid if we get rid of Garnacho, your fan base is going to erupt. The fan base is going to absolutely lose their shit because I don't know where to go then. If Garnacho goes, I'm going to be devastated because I've got a Garnacho shirt in that wardrobe. I've got another United fan called Liam Crockett. Massive shout out to him, by the way. He's a massive Garnacho fan. And I know how upset he's going to be because he doesn't want him to go anywhere either. It's going to feel like the first time Ronaldo walked out the club. When Ronaldo went to Real Madrid, I was still at school. And I was on the way home from school, and my bus driver told me, if you heard about Ronaldo, he's leaving. I was like, you what? Ronaldo's gone. What do you mean? I was like, what do you mean Ronaldo's gone? Ronaldo's gone to Real Madrid. I burst through my house door, and I bawled my eyes out because I was devastated because we lost Tevez and Ronaldo in the same fucking summer to Manchester City and Real Madrid. And then we brought in players like Owen, Overton, and Valencia. That terrifies me because United are going to go down the same path again to replace Garnacho, and that terrifies me. And if you not want to get rid of Garnacho, weep the repercussions. You are going to get off the fans and get off the supporters of this club because it's not going to go down well if you sell him to Chelsea. And if you start sitting at the big time at Chelsea and he starts producing the goods, oh my God, you ain't going to like the fans and you're not going to like me if I have to react to this. I don't want to react to it. I dread having to react to Garnacho going. I don't want that to happen. But the reality is, this Chelsea are taking this deal seriously. Chelsea want Garnacho. United can't just sit there and not take the money. But I think United are going to push the button and they're going to do it. But if you remove that, there's no threat on the left-hand flank of the pitch now. We haven't got anyone. So I don't know what United do. But on tonight, I'm really disappointed the way the Rangers equaliser come about. And again, we've put in a centre-back that has been done for how many seasons? Was never good enough under Ollie, was never good enough under Ragnick, was never good enough under Ten Hag, and was not even been good enough for Man United still. The defending from Harry Maguire is absolutely incredibly shit. That centre-back who I told you United need to shift. United need to move him on. Man United have stuck by Maguire way too long. And it's about time they smelt the coffee and realised a lot of United fans are right about Maguire. Because that defending, the way Dessers turns inside, he turns Maguire inside out. He turns Maguire and puts him on his ass. Puts Maguire on his ass. Maguire can't react because he's been turned, he's been embarrassed, and he's been sat down on his lazy bum. Because he is lazy. Maguire gets turned way too easily, gets sat down on his ass, and the finish from Dessers is a quality finish. And the problem is you've got Martinez back there, you've got DeLicht back there, and you've got Maguire, and you've still got Bandir in goal. But I can't believe the goalkeeping as well. Bandir has come out into the middle of his goal. He's left the left side of his goal massively open, and he's left the right side of his goal massively open to be aimed at. That, for me, is really, 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 really shit goalkeeping. You have basically gave the Ranger striker Dessers a free shot on our goal because your goalkeeping stance, you basically stood in the middle of your goal, quite far out. Look at the left side of your goal. You've left it open to hit. Look at the right side of your goal. You've left it open to hit. And Dessers puts it into the bottom corner. And BAYINDIR tries to stretch a leg out, but he basically just stands there with a stretched leg out and basically lets Dessers score. That, for me, is really lazy goalkeeping. I know our goalkeeping situation is shit, but it sums up how bad both are. The equaliser is such poor defending from Maguire in the first place, who should be stronger and a lot more versatile and a lot more physical in that moment. But the problem Maguire's got, if he brings Dessers down and he puts the foul in, Maguire's gone. That gets class as denying a goal scoring opportunity. Maguire gets sent off. He misses next week's game away in Romania against FCSB. So Maguire, in fairness, can't really do anything. But the way he doesn't be able to stand up and command a huge presence and body and stature about the way he defends Dessers, when you're getting turned inside out by a young quality player who you know is a threat on goal for Rangers. We've seen it in the Scottish Premiership and we've seen it in Europe. Dessers is one of Rangers' main goal-scoring threats in their team. And when you've got players like Maguire who are getting turned inside out for the Rangers equaliser, that is really embarrassing defending, because when you have Martinez and DALOT still there and you bring Maguire on for YORO, and again, I don't understand why YORO gets all this criticism. I don't understand why YORO is getting absolutely slammed by fans and by some of our supporters. YORO is going to take time to learn. He's only 18 years old. He's only 18 years of age. And we're dragging him off, making him look like a complete wally brain. And you're bringing on a quality young world-class centre-back who's got big potential, who United ended up paying 60 million for to beat the likes of Real Madrid from getting him in the first place, which never looked like it was going to happen. When that day happened and we got a deal agreed for YORO, look how excited I was. But we have still got players like Harry Maguire still in connection in this team. We've got players like Maguire that still get ahead of YORO. And it makes me want to throw up. It makes me want to vomit of how stupid that actually makes Manchester United look. Because you've brought YORO in, who's meant to be the future for now and for the future in more years gone. That's meant to be the starting block to build a lot more structure, a lot more of a defensive solid system inside that back three. But when you're dragging YORO off and bringing on a complete wally like Maguire, who gets turned so easily and basically sat down by a Rangers striker, you have to become, as a manager, a bit more security and a bit more of an intelligent brain there to realise. So you've dragged YORO off, who wasn't a problem in that first half. You've brought him off and you've brought Maguire on. I don't know why we did that. I don't know what that necessarily sub was for, but for me, it made no sense. It made the defence a lot more insecure when YORO's not in that back three. Because I've noticed it when we've got a back three of YORO, DALOT and Martinez. Look how more secure we look. Look how a bit more defensively solid Manchester United look their back three. Because we've got a young world-class centre-back in YORO. We've got two experienced centre-backs in DALOT and Martinez. And as soon as you bring one of them out and you add Maguire into the occasion, Maguire makes our defence look really, really crumbly, like a Maryland cookie biscuit. It makes our defence look very, very amateurish. I think that was a mistake by bringing YORO off. I don't know what that sub was for. Was it an injury? I'm not sure. But for me, it's a tactical substitution. If that what it was, I'm hoping YORO's not picked up an injury. I really hope he hasn't. But bringing on Maguire at that moment of the time where he was at fault for the goal, he was at fault for the Rangers equaliser because he can't stand up and actually fucking do his defensive job and actually stand and actually defend that Rangers attacking moment. I mean, it's one long ball from the midfield or the back foot of the Rangers play. He plays one hoofing long ball up to Dessers. Maguire doesn't even know where the ball is. He basically looks up and then looks back down and sees Dessers, and he sees Dessers got the ball. I don't think Maguire really knew where the ball was. But that's a big problem because you've got turned Maguire and you got sat down and Rangers score. But you've got to play the goalkeeper for BAYINDIR just standing there. As a goalkeeper, you can't just be standing there. That makes you look really, really, really amateurish. That makes you, as a goalkeeper, look very, 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 very weak. And for me, I'm not happy with that. That makes Maguire look incredibly, incredibly foolish and quite naive as a centre-back that he can't do his fucking job. And I'm getting sick to death of him being in this team. He makes us look worse, and we are still picking him. We are still selecting him ahead of players like YORO. YORO did nothing wrong in that game and gets dragged off than Maguire. For me, it makes no sense. So Rangers think they've rescued a point in the 86th minute. They think they've rescued a point through the Debtors equaliser. But, you know, thank God Bruno Fernandes stepped up in the 92nd minute. I mean, the Rangers defending is really, really poor because they don't close down the run and the speed and the pace with Martinez with the ball. They see Lisandro Martinez as attacking that Rangers box and that Rangers penalty area very, very quickly. They know he's got the ball and he's approaching their penalty area. And there's a lack of defending from Rangers at that time because they don't close Martinez down. They don't put a block in. They don't put a challenge in. They basically just let Martinez carry on with his run, his momentum and his confidence and the belief he's got, because he knows this ball he's got at his feet has got to go inside the box. But what a brilliant ball it is into the Rangers penalty area. What a brilliant, brilliant assist and a brilliant, brilliant played pass and cross at the right moment, at the right place. And what I liked about that, the Bruno Fernandes winning goal, Bruno Fernandes sees exactly what Lisandro Martinez is going to do. If you go back and watch the goal and you go and watch the eyesight from Bruno to Lisandro Martinez and Martinez to Bruno, if you go and watch the goal back, Bruno Fernandes knows exactly what Lisandro Martinez is going to do with that ball. He knows exactly when to run. As soon as Martinez launches that ball into the Rangers penalty area, Bruno Fernandes absolutely bolts into the penalty area. You look at his speed, you look at the charisma, you look at the tempo and the pace he was going towards that ball. Bruno knew exactly what Martinez was going to do with that cross, because you've got to get that cross pin perfect. And again, the Rangers defending there is really shit because you don't block the cross, you don't put a challenge on the player, and you basically let Man United have a free chance on your goal because those Rangers players can't be asked to defend it. They can't be asked to tackle, put a block in, put a challenge, prevent the ball from going in the penalty area in their first place. But look at the run from Bruno because he knows exactly what Martinez is going to do. And the first time finish and the first time volley for Bruno to slam it home for a 2-1 win in the 92nd minute with only 3 minutes remaining of the 5 minutes added on. What a great goal. What a great finish. What a great assist from Martinez. And what a great moment of relief and stress that has been taken off our shoulders, because it gives us a huge, huge advantage heading into next week against FCSB. Obviously, we can't take these games lying down. We can't take this too seriously. We've got to be focusing on ourselves and not thinking the game's already won when we haven't kicked the ball yet. It takes a lot of stress and a lot of relief off those players going into next week, because this is a huge result tonight. This is the biggest game of the Europa League night, in my view. Getting this win against Rangers puts Manchester United in an upward step of positivity to carry on as the Europa League into knockout stages, and we basically know we're through anyway. But if we beat FCSB anyway next Thursday evening on the last game of this new league phase, it's match day 8 next Thursday night against FCSB away in Romania. If we beat them and we win that game, United will be through to the knockout rounds of the UEFA Europa League, which we all know we have to win because of the only competition that we all know, again, is the only way Man United get back again into the Champions League next season, by winning the Europa League, getting into that final, lifting that trophy. And it will basically try and save our season, because our season has been a total bloody car crash. And I think we have to sum it up. It has. We have to be honest. We can't tell lies here. We've got to be blatantly honest. The way our season has actually been as a football club, it's been really, really shocking, the standards and the level of some of the performances that we've seen this season. Thank God Bruno got that winner in the 92nd minute, because it took a lot of relief and a lot of stress off us, because it would have been a different match reaction and a different full-time way I would have viewed the game and the result. But up pops Bruno Fernandes to win the game and rescue a huge 3 points for Manchester United on this Thursday evening. So I hope you enjoy this full-time reaction. Please hit the like button, the share button. Please keep subscribing to the channel, which is United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. Remember to always remember the notification bell. Put that bell on at all times so you receive dedicated and upcoming brand new content of brand new videos, brand new shorts, brand new live streams that we've got planned for all of you amazing people right throughout the rest of 2025 this year. Obviously, we've still got this big announcement coming in April. Again, massive shout out to mate Jordan. He knows who he is. He's an absolute living legend on this planet. For me, one of the nicest, most kindest people I've ever met in my whole life. We went to school, we went to college together, and what he's brought in my life and what he's made me come to a decision is going to help me, him, my friends, my family, and it's going to be a completely different direction for this channel and this community. And then remember, please join me for the look ahead tomorrow evening for the game on Sunday evening, which is a 7 o'clock evening away kickoff. We are back where we were at the start of the season. We play Fulham at Craven Cottage, and hopefully we can complete the double. We can take 6 points off them, and hopefully we get back to winning ways in the Premier League on Sunday night. So I hope you enjoyed this. See you for the look ahead tomorrow evening between Fulham and Manchester United for match day 23 for the 24-25 Premier League season. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the rest and enjoy your weekend as well. You're all amazing. You're all legendary. Can't thank you all enough for the support, the love and the kindness you show me. Massive shout out to my mate Jane as well. It was her birthday yesterday, so massive happy birthday to Jane as well. Hope you had a good birthday and everything. Hope you had a good day. And yeah, enjoy the rest of whatever you're doing this evening. Stay safe, be nice, and be kind to each other. You're all amazing. You're all legend. You're all legendary. Join me tomorrow evening for the look ahead between Fulham and Manchester United for the Sunday's Premier League evening away game. And I'll see you guys all on the next one. Come on, United.